So today I'm going to be installing a new baby gate at the base of my stairway. It's the same exact model that I installed at the top, and it's there for essentially the same reason. Lately, my baby advanced in his crawling and walking, and he's now able to go upstairs, and he has a fascination for them, as they do for any new thing they discover. So that means that he runs towards the stairs the second you take an eye off of him. Turn around for a second, he's gonna rush there and try to climb them. So in an effort to not have to keep rushing after him and grabbing him, because while he can climb safely while supervised, he can make mistakes and fall back, and he most certainly cannot go downstairs yet. So we want to just keep him off the stairs, period, in order to avoid a problem. So I'm gonna be assembling that very same model of baby gate and putting it at the base of the stairs so he can't access the stairwell until such a time as he can do so safely. So this is the Regalo brand baby gates, all over Amazon. Seems to be pretty popular. I like it because it's metal, and I like that there are supports that get screwed into the wall, which kind of helps to make that a lot more rigid. There are some weird quirks about it, like when you install it and you tighten it, initially it's made so that it's not actually like the gate can't really close because there's a gap between the gate door and the other side of the frame, and that's actually there on purpose so that as you tighten it, it straightens up and then it tightens that gap. Unusual but understandable based on the manufacturing method of this thing. If you didn't do that, what would happen is you would tighten it and then the space for the gate to swing would be too small. So kind of is what it is. It seems to be pretty good thus far. That latch is pretty resilient. One of the first things my kid did is walk up to it, like crawled up, stood up, grabbed that and started messing with it. So he automatically understands that that thing is what will allow that gate to swing open. But obviously a little baby doesn't have the strength to pull back the little gray safety latch to then lift the white latch to undo the gate. So it works very effectively. So let's go over how to install this thing. So here's everything that I'm going to be using to install this. There's two Allen head bolts that kind of hold the two sections of frame together. There's that pin. That pin is what allows the gate to swing. You put it in through the top. There's a lower pin that's already installed on the frame. There's these screws that are for mounting those circular cups to the wall. Then the expanders will sit inside of those, and basically those cups are what's limiting the motion of the expanders on the wall so that you keep a level gate, right? Like that. Of course, it comes with an Allen key, but I'm not going to do something as goofy as that because we have technology. So Allen head, impact driver, not going to waste my time using the old-fashioned method. I've turned enough wrenches in my life and paid my dues, so I will now give my tired subarthritic hands the help of technology. See, you're gonna need a level, unless you don't, particularly care about your gate being level, and a pencil. Basically, you're gonna install the whole gate, and you're gonna draw a circle on your wall around those things. You'll remove the whole gate. You'll put these little circles up to the wall, draw the circle in the center, right? You kind of align those up to the circle you drew initially. Draw the little circle in the center, which is for the screw. You'll pop the screws in, hold those to the wall, and then you reinstall the gate. Right, so the first part of this install, and don't misunderstand me, I'm not gonna have this up against here. I'm thinking of having it up against here on the first step. But first thing we gotta do is we gotta take this piece, and this is one side of the frame, and we have to assemble the other side of the frame to it. That's what the two Allen head bolts are for. So this is the gate. I'm not going to use this yet. Right? That can just kind of hang out. But this section here goes over there. So kind of drop it here on top of this one. We're going to take our Allen head bolts and pop them in. They'll tighten the first one all the way and leave the other one slightly in. Now you can tighten it up. That's that. Now, this is not wide enough on its own, right, to fill in the space. You're gonna have a gap left, which is why it comes with another section. Obviously, that will vary depending upon the width of your stairway, or wherever you're placing it. But most of these are like standard spacing, standard width, so you're probably gonna need this, at least in the south floor of the house. So, real simple. They just kind of slide it together. So that's that. Another consideration is what way do you want the gate to swing? In my case, I want it to swing this way, so I'm fine with this layout. Let's go ahead and seat this guy down. Lower pin that's got to engage, then as you can see it won't lock, but once I tighten this will bend and it'll catch. There's that upper pin that I mentioned. You're going to go ahead and pop it into the top of this thing. Pin's here. Go ahead and slide it in. Alright, so kind of align this. Pop this pin here. And it's going to have some resistance, but there you go. Now this is nice and solid, and the gate won't come off. And so at this point, you want to install these expanders. Before you do that, you kind of just want to loosen this a little bit. You just pop this in. It does not thread in, it just kind of pops in, and what happens is as you turn this, the thread forces this guy out, and then obviously it'll push up against the wall and it'll just hold by pressure. There are 4 of them, so you want to install 1 on every corner. Alright, now I have the gate positioned in the space. I've expanded these little expanders just so that it's holding in place, but this is by no means a final install. Like I said, I still have to mark for where the mounting cups are going to go. However, this is just the initial layout. I've got a level here. This is magnetic, so it sticks to it. It's fantastic. So my first order of business is just going to be to knock this over until I see a level. Side. So that you'll go ahead and you'll trace the circle so that you know where it has to be in order to be level. So I was actually about to make a key mistake here, and that mistake is that I was about to, like I did upstairs, try to align these larger diameter cups to the drawing that was done around these smaller kind of inner rubber pieces. You don't want to do that. You want to put the cups on, level this, like, you know, have everything expanded and leveled, and then draw around these so that then you can really align these to what you drew on the wall and properly draw your center mark. I want to say the instructions actually don't tell you to do that. They just tell you to put these up against the wall and draw it without the little plastic cups, and that's going to be a hassle later, and I'll show you that in more detail. So this is what I was getting at when I said if you trace a small circle you have an issue. Right, if I had to align this thing to the small circle that's on that wall, it's an issue. But obviously if I have to line it to the circle that I drew around it, it's really easy to do. So I can do that, then draw around the little hole in the center, and I know exactly where to position the drill hole, right? So let's go ahead, pop this feather on, or let's line it to that. I can just do this. Right, and it's actually sticking to my paint. That might not be the case for you, so don't count on that. But yeah, it's stuck in place, so may as well go ahead and screw the guy in. might as well go ahead and install that then. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and just mark more or less what I consider to be the center point of that tiny hole, because I kind of wish they just gave you a teeny tiny little opening just big enough for you to make a dot. That would give you a perfect center. But I end up drilling little crosshairs to try to get that center. Then I'll pop this screw right into the little crosshairs here. There you go. One of these things is mounted. I'll do that for the other 4, and then you install the gate into them, and you're done. All right, now with all 4 of these things mounted to the wall, all I really need to do is go ahead and position the gate inside of them and tighten it. One thing you want to watch out for is just making sure that it's expanded sufficiently to where this will lock in place. Until these feel tight. See, now this is nice and locked, but still free opening in that one direction, so gotta keep tightening it. Just trying to spread the, tighten in various directions. Doesn't have to be perfectly even. Obviously, the closer you get to even, the better. All right, so here we have the whole completed gate setup. Now, originally I had mounted it above the first stair step. The only problem with that is that when you're coming downstairs, you now have like something that your foot can step on. It's really uncomfortable, especially if you're barefoot, and it's a tripping hazard. So I went ahead and moved it down and placed it at floor level, because that way, right, this is open, you have a normal stair step instead of having a rail here. So that I think is a massive advantage versus the previous location. It's just much smoother flow. And I mean, it does the job thus far, thankfully, because it's, kind of screwed into the wall, and especially if you can get a stud back there, it makes it a lot harder for your kid to be able to move it and remove it. I've heard of kids yanking these things out, believe it or not, and mine has tried. Hilariously, mine has also observed that this is how you unlock it. So he's tried to mess with this, but obviously you have to have the strength to pull the spring-loaded part and lift this, which his little hands can't yet do. So by the time he has the strength to do that, he probably won't need this anyway. So I'm not particularly concerned. I think it's well built for a small kid to, not be able to mess with it. So it's definitely doing its job. I'm happy with this one, and the one upstairs, pretty good value overall, I'd say, for money, and pretty decent looking. Obviously, my stairs would look nicer without this thing in the way, but that's part of the cost of having a kid if you guys have gotten value out of this video and you want to see more like it, there's definitely going to be more baby proofing happening to my house as things progress and his development progresses. So if you want to see more, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're notified when I post up another one. If you have any questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching.